I guess, topic or set of questions is how do you approach that with a loved one that, and when people are doing this sort of thing, they feel like they're walking on eggshells. They feel like they are kind of having to navigate and not say the wrong thing. And it's a sensitive topic because it impacts so many people around the world and so many families. I feel like every day I run into someone that connects with me on that level where they have a family member or somebody that they're trying to help. What I would say is there are professional people, interventionists, who their whole world is built around this exact problem. And that whole industry exists because this is such a prevalent problem that people face. And so interventionists have a really high success rate of getting somebody into treatment, even within that same day, upwards of 90% a lot of the time. So that's a really good resource for people. In the West, interventionists in the US, in Canada, in Australia, in Europe, interventionists exist and they're able to offer their services. A lot of the time they will meet with the family beforehand and they'll do either a preliminary Zoom with the family or a call just to kind of get an understanding of what's going on with the loved one that's struggling with addiction. And then they'll show up. If it's far away, they'll fly there and they'll meet with the family. And what they do is they do the pre-planning of the intervention beforehand. So they'll get family members to write things sometimes. Everyone has a different model. There's a specific model called the Johnson model, the invitation model. So that's the most popular one, I believe, is the one where they actually ask the loved one to come and join the family at a specific set time and place, normally the household. And so everybody involved is writing things like impact statements, and they get a chance, they get like, the opportunity to share the way that the person's addiction has affected them. And that seems to be the point that the addict or the alcoholic ends up realizing a lot of the time. Sometimes they know it, deep down, they know that they've been affecting people, but it's never been said in such a forum and, shone a light on so abruptly that seems to be the point where they agree to then go do something about it. That being said, there needs to be, a lot of the time, we find that the higher success rate comes when the person has the buy-in or really wants to go to rehab themselves. If the family is able to get the loved one to that point where they not only just agree to go to rehab to make everybody stop talking about it, and to put a pin in it for now. We're always leaving the door slightly open in case in the future they wanted to use drugs or alcohol or whatever in a safe way. Then what we really want is for them to want to go to rehab themselves. And the intervention or the family meeting, whether done in a professional setting with the professional interventionist or studied online before the family gets together. Sometimes people live in remote areas where an interventionist, isn't easy to get access to, and they have to stage a sort of family intervention themselves. There's tons of stuff online about it, so I would encourage families to look into that. But again, it comes down to the success of the person is heavily tied to their buy-in and them wanting to get sober. And to change their life, because without that, rehab can be sort of a band-aid for the actual underlying issue. And if I was to get into the underlying issue, a lot of the times it's someone's anxiety, depression. There are these underlying mental health issues that they might be struggling with. The addiction is a lot of the time self-medicating for them. They are using drugs and alcohol to escape the way that they feel, to change how they feel on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. It doesn't have to be every day. People think of the alcoholic as someone who is under a bridge with a paper bag, and homeless or whatever it might be. There's so many different presentations of this disease of addiction, but the highest success rate is when somebody decides to go to rehab and they want to change their lives and get sober, because what rehabs have on offer is a way out. They can teach you in a safe environment where you first detox if you need to, and then safely learn the tools and day-to-day structures on how to build your life and not need to rely on drugs and alcohol anymore to change the way that you feel.